Just me, yeah, just me and
It's just you. Oh, how about the? I love that you have that instantly. What a way to kick off the show. Well, welcome everybody to the Galaxy of Geeks. We are coming to you live as we do every single Thursday, around 6-ish, 6 p.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time, and we really appreciate everybody who's hanging out with us live today, and appreciate everybody that will take the time to watch the replay and listen to the audio version of this episode later on. If you're new to the show, welcome to the Galaxy of Geeks universe. Every week, Victor and I break down what is happening for the most part and what's going on in the hottest stuff in geek news. And the last few weeks, if you've been following us or haven't been following us, we've been breaking down and reacting and recapping our watching of the Falcon and Winter Soldier on Disney Plus. And today we're going to be talking about the finale, which was about a week ago now.
Yep.
About now that it premiered. And normally, as I said, we do the show on Thursday, so it's always we always do the show the day before the next episode premieres. So we're always breaking down the previous week's episode. The show is done. Finale happened. Now we have a little lull before Loki starts in June. We've got Bad Batch coming next. As
Tuesday.
Far as Disney shows go,
Tuesday.
Yeah, May 4th. So we've got that coming out next. But we want to at least finish up our discussions on this, and then of course we'll be moving on to all the newer stuff. So the Falcon and Winter Soldier season finale, probably series finale, maybe series finale.
Mm-hmm.
What are your immediate thoughts on was it everything you hoped for? Did it disappoint? Where did you fall in on this season finale?
It was more than what I anticipated.
Okay.
On so many levels. When we first started the series, I asked my wife, I said, out of The Mandalorian, WandaVision, and this, I told her like 2 episodes in, I was like, I love the other 2, but this is, and I've said this on here before,
right,
the first series that's really like sucked me in like a movie and made me want to go back and just like reanalyze everything. And I'm not saying that the other 2 are bad. I love the other 2 series. It's just, to me, this was at another level. This was like watching, we said it, we've said in the last few episodes, it's like watching 3 additional Marvel movies, because we're getting, it's 6 hours of content, more or less. I mean, give or take what? Well, it's 5 hours. I mean, every episode's about 50 minutes long, so it's 5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. But even still, that's that's two good length, Marvel movies right there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they wrapped everything up nicely.
Yeah.
Agreed. I think that they left enough of a like trampoline for everything that needed to go on to have a jump point. So now when we hear about rumors of what could happen, or we could speculate what will happen, I mean, there's definitely 4 major story arcs coming out of here.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
Yeah.
You have Zemo, who's on the raft, who had
the last laugh.
Yeah, he had his butler kill off the end of the Flag Smashers.
Like Evil Alfred.
Evil Alfred is how it's been said in a lot of different recap videos or like Easter egg videos.
Yeah.
You have U.S. agent / Valentina, who has been confirmed, and I think you brought this up already. She first was supposed to appear in Black Widow.
Yep, that was supposed to be an introduction.
Right. So from what I was reading today, they talked to everyone involved in Black Widow to see how they were going to incorporate the character
right
into this series, because obviously they're getting bullet points and different things as to what they want to have happen in the series
right
before they make the series. I mean, obviously they want certain things and when I say they, Marvel wants certain things, and they more or less bullet point things, and they come back to them and say, okay, well, we're going to do this, 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 and this. And along the lines, there was a discussion between the Black Widow team and the Falcon and Winter Soldiers team to incorporate Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character of Valentina here.
right
We obviously have U.S. Agent and his redemption story, because he really, was at a crossroads where he could have gone the route of revenge or done what he wanted to. In the end, he wanted the respect of Bucky and Sam over everything else.
Yeah, I mean, it would certainly seem that he has come at least full circle back to sort of the person he was before he took the super soldier serum, and it enhanced obviously the anger and the rage he was feeling over the death of Battlestar.
Yeah.
And just pulling out some of his worst qualities about himself. And it would seem that he's gotten a grip on it now. And I especially think it was very, really came to light, or came to head, when he made that choice between saving the all the politicians, diplomats going over
GRC,
in the locked van, armored vehicle, or going after Carly. And and you saw him grapple with that, and ultimately, and then you get that like great scene, and you think it's gonna fall, and it doesn't, and you see him pulling it back, and it's like, oh, cool, all right. So, he chose wisely on that one, and it's gonna be interesting to see now where he goes, and if he's gonna become basically, the leader of, whatever faction.
There have been 3 factions already rumored. We talked about Thunderbolts. You talked about Dark Avengers. And then there was a third one that during one of the Easter eggs videos that I saw, they threw out another name out there, but mentioned that Dark Avengers, Thunderbolts were the 2 most likely. They also mentioned that given that it's Disney Plus, who's to say they don't do both?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, they could absolutely do both. I mean, I think you have a lot of the characters in place where you can totally do both. I think a lot of things have been set into motion, and with the fact that we know that we're getting these different series, Armor Wars, Secret Invasion, there's another one which I'm blanking out on.
There's a bunch.
It's insane.
Coming out, there's She-Hulk.
I actually feel like that this series really did, like, not only did they tie up where they started, but it literally is now a launch pad for all these different storylines to start branching off into these other shows. And
it also gives credibility to these 2 characters, because as we talked about last week, I think now you have the Bucky and new Captain America character. I mean, the rumor is that Captain America 4 is going to be what they're working on.
Well, they've already announced it. There's been all these announcements like right away. I don't know if there's been the official like Marvel, but it seems like almost like the next day things were like already like in full on overdrive as far as him.
Right.
As far as Marvel making a Captain America 4, and of course, Sam. Sam's Captain America. I mean, that's it.
And it's funny because he didn't find out himself until a cashier at a grocery store told him.
Yeah, I know. That's what they're saying. That's hilarious.
So we have that, and then what I was watching this, And I said Armor Wars immediately. The end credit scene with Sharon Carter, with her saying, "I'm going to be on the inside. I'm going to be getting all the tech. I'm going to be
right."
like Armor Wars. They just fucking set up Armor Wars,
right?
Because it's going to be all about people that have stolen Stark tech, and basically it's going to be Rhodes' job to hunt these people down and get it back. I mean,
yeah.
We finally found out that she's the power broker.
Right,
So,
which I do want to talk about. I do want to talk about that. So, but okay, so finish your point, and then I want to jump.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is it's brilliant because she's already on that island. What was it called?
Madripoor.
Madripoor. She was already in Madripoor dispensing anything that was needed. So this is just going to be that on a much bigger scale.
Yeah.
So she's already got somewhat of a network set up. She's got kind of an infrastructure. So it's going to be a great leap for her now being the big bad there as well.
Right.
So,
right.
So go ahead. What did you want to say about
all
that?
I was going to say is I did want to just start doing, because I know we've jumped a little bit. I did want to just sort of recap a little bit to get to these points. So, you know, and I agree with you 100%. I feel the same way about the show, and especially this finale. It really didn't disappoint. I mean, it literally like picked right up where episode 5 left off. Great, awesome introduction by Sam flying in through the window and breaking the window, and with the awesome shield action and him fighting the French dude, Georges St. Pierre, but fighting him, and that was a great fight. And I just loved how all the different pieces started happening. You know, Sharon shows up with the mask. I love the tactic that Carly pulls in this to delay Bucky, which was great with the phone call and him trying to now talk her down, and she's basically like just stalling like crazy. I love that. I love that she totally played him. And then there was another quick funny thing in there too, like when they go through the metal detector and Bucky's arm doesn't go off, but yet Sharon's of course she's packing, and she's like the little alarm goes off. I just thought that was a really funny thing. Another cool part too was I loved the parts where once they got through that main fight, all that helicopter sequence I thought was really cool. And then Sam like buzzing in and like, you know, because they did the whole scan. Red Wing did the scan with trying to see who has air flight or helicopter training. And and then I don't know. I just loved all that. I just thought it was so wild to like, and that reminded me of the beginning of the series when we had that great aerial fight. And that kind of like brought that back like full circle for me. I really dug that. And then I loved all the on the ground stuff. When John Walker shows up, you must have the same reaction because you knew he was going to show up, but he shows up, it's like, oh great, this asshole. Like it's like, you know, here comes this guy now, and you know he's coming, but it's like, what is he going to do? And of course,
in the midst of things, I did forget about him. I'll admit it, because with everything else going on, you know, he was the last thing that I was thinking of because we were already in 3 different places.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, we were
with Sharon, we were with Bucky.
Yeah.
So,
and I love that. I loved all the cutting back and forth and all the different sequences. I thought that was great. And then he shows up, and it's like, oh, this guy. And man, they make short work of that shield. Like, and we knew that was going to happen, but. You know, and I love that scene where he's getting beat and he's looking at his Medal of Honor. I thought that was a really cool touch. As he's trying to like, you know, like use that to like really keep himself going and, you know, remind him and all that. I thought that was really neat how they did that. And then that whole, we were talking about it, the whole sequence where, you know, Carly, and she basically tries to kill the other van of people, and John Walker has to make that decision, and he makes the right decision. And it's like you kind of take a breath there, and then all of a sudden it like starts all over again because you have that whole fight going on down there, and then they launch the smoke grenade, and then it's just like we got to find Carly. And so and this is where you and I last week, one of our predictions was that Carly was going to get recruited somehow, or maybe she was going to turn, and it literally was just like Sharon just takes her out because she was going to kill Sam, and Sam was trying his hardest to like get through to her and like not fight and really do his counseling and really pull her back, because he did not want to kill her, and Sharon, of course, saved Sam's life, but we also know that
she had other motives.
She had other motives because she revealed herself as the power broker.
Yeah.
And Carly was going to basically tell everybody
it's an
outer. And that also then begs the question here is, I don't think, and I think this has been a popular theory has been talking about, but I just don't think that Sharon's the only power broker. I feel like and I know that in the comic books, it's sort of been a shared identity, through other characters over time. And I think she is a power broker, but I don't feel like the power broker is one person. I feel like the power broker is just, to quote Indiana Jones, top men, I mean, that, even though she's not a man, but like, I think she's in this like very like, I mean, maybe it's only another person or maybe two other people. I just feel like there's like this, and this is where, we were talking about Ross, being up there as a potential power broker. Maybe there's another one, maybe Valentina is up there as a power broker, or maybe it really is just Sharon pulling all the strings. I feel like there's another layer to this power broker stuff.
I think that, yeah. Well, I think that will all be revealed again with the whole Armor Wars situation. Because again, we talked about this a few weeks back, the whole Vulture thing from Spider-Man Homecoming.
Right.
Where you already had the Vulture and the Scorpion and the Shocker were already stealing Stark Tech. And that was going to that big warehouse in DC. So could who was the person that showed up there? She was a famous actress as well. Was it Time Daly? Was that who was in that scene in Homecoming where she shows up with the permit and tells Michael Keaton that his services are no longer welcome?
I think so. I can't remember, but yeah, it was somebody very well known like that. Yeah, and yeah, because that was when they basically commandeered everything,
and that was all going to a warehouse.
Right.
So we could see a lot of this stuff tying back around to Armor Wars, to Power Broker being involved. Maybe that organization has something to do with it as well,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that is. I mean, listen, I think there's so many ways it can go.
It was Time Daly.
Okay, great. That's good. Yeah, because I know it was somebody like that, like you said, like very like well known. I feel like that, and I also felt like there was a key phrase at the end too in that last scene with John Walker, which was when she goes, what is it? Don't leave town or stay by your phone. Things are going to get weird. And I feel like that's getting referred to Secret Invasion.
Yeah, by you saying that now, that's exactly what that sounds like to me, to be honest.
Because she obviously must know that there's, all these Skrulls.
Right.
And I know there's the big thing. Is Sharon Carter even a Skrull? I don't know. Right. I mean, I guess that's a potential too. I mean, at this point, anybody can be a Skrull. I mean, all we know right now is that Nick Fury is a Skrull, and we know that woman at the end of WandaVision was a Skrull.
Yeah.
So how many more Skrulls? How many Skrulls?
We'll see in Secret Invasion. We're going to see that in Secret Invasion, how that all plays out, and how we may have had superheroes that were, that were switched out. I mean, shit, this just came to mind. Imagine this. If all of a sudden we find out that the Tony Stark that did the snap was actually a Skrull and not the actual Tony Stark. That could be a way, if they really want to bring Robert Downey Jr. back into the fold. That's one like immediate out that they could use, because multiverse. But you know what I'm hearing, or the rumors from the multiverse, is that what we'll see is Tom Cruise come in as Iron Man. No. Because he's Iron Man in another dimension.
Please. Unless he's gonna play the character from Tropic Thunder. Was it Les Grossman? Is it Les Grossman?
I think so. But the two strong rumors is that he's gonna come back as that, and that John Krasinski is gonna be Captain America.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean,
that to me, I mean, not saying that it's not possible, but why? It would make more sense to bring back the original characters from another dimension. But then also, this comes back to what Christian has always said in the group, how he didn't want to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew
Garfield.
Excuse me. As Spider-Man, because they look nothing like Tom Holland. But if you're doing a multiverse, then obviously, someone, in those other dimensions, Spider-Man doesn't look exactly the same as the Spider-Man in your dimension. So
right, and I mean, in the into Spider-Verse, we kind of learned. I mean, Peter Parker looked the same in a few of those, but you had the Nick Cage, the Noir Spider-Man, then you had obviously Miles Morales you had these different Spider-Man, you had the Spider-Gwen character. So yeah, I mean, listen, it totally listen, you're talking about multiverse, so anything can make sense. Right. I mean, it's just what you want to make it. I think it'd be a little weird, but I mean, listen, I'm sure they could pull it off as long as the writing was good. They could pull it off. I don't know if I'd be a big fan of it, but I'm always willing to give it a shot if it goes down that way. I mean, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, it's like, I mean, I know everybody would roll their eyes like I just did. Like, oh, Tom Cruise, come on. Like, enough with Tom Cruise already. We got Tom Cruise and everything. Like, could we get somebody else in there? But I also know butts and seats. So it's
yeah. How about Ben Affleck coming out as Daredevil?
Not now.
I think you're just hesitant because the first thing to come out of his mind would be, "Do you play?"
I just watched the Ultimate. I don't want to go. I don't want to go into it. I'm going to go off on a tangent. I did watch the Ultimate edition of that recently.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna. I'm gonna stay on track because I know it's gonna happen. So we'll stay on track tonight. But overall, I mean, I really. That's all I'm thinking about.
Here's another thing we're going to touch on: the whole Isaiah thing and how that. Ended up.
Yes, exactly. And I thought that was really great. I mean, that was. I loved that they did that, and I was hoping it was going to be something along those lines. I didn't know if it was going to be. I thought more it would be something like, he shows up and they give him a Medal of Honor or something like that. But this is even better because it's like he is like 100% not going to be forgotten now. Like that is like a total like it was just such a great moment. I'm so glad they did that rather than be like, hey, we honor you and here's your medal and all that. Like,
like
this is like much more meaningful to get that kind of recognition.
Yeah, and I thought it was cool that him and Sam, when Sam went to his house, how he was still, he still thought he was crazy and whatnot, but he respected him for what he had done. And much to the point of, what Carly was trying to do, Sam, to those members of the GRC, he pretty much gave them what, Carly was trying to do, but in a way where it was communicated instead of it being done due to a show of force.
Yeah.
So, both things were very cool. Were very, as we mentioned, very geopolitical, very social. They're hot social topics.
I mean,
And
especially now, it's so timely. I mean, it's like scorching hot, and you know, obviously they didn't plan it like that, but like it really makes a big. It's just really making a big impact, and I'm so glad that they went there and put all that in there, because I think it was the right thing to do, and you know, they didn't whitewash it or anything like that. Like, you know, I think for Disney, they, you know, and Disney's not usually one to do that. I mean, they kind of shy away as much as they can from
controversy.
Controversy and, like, you know, real hot button social issues, because it's always been their thing. But I feel like this show, they definitely pushed it a bit more, and obviously showing blood on Captain America's shield. We did talk about that from episode 4. Yes, yeah.
There was plenty of cursing in here. I mean, it was
cursing, which I was shocked.
I mean, there weren't any F-bombs, but there was definitely, you know, there was shit was thrown around plenty of times.
Yeah, something else, you make a really great point, as something we didn't talk about, is they let that go, and you know, I mean, listen, for us it's great, I was shocked for Disney to let that go. So it's like, we got some cursing, we got some blood, like
people getting killed on screen, you know, not A-team deaths.
Right.
But I think they were smart enough to, you know, and to Feige, because he's the one that's heading all this up, they used enough of it to get the point across without it needing to be gratuitous.
Right. They didn't have to get super gory or incredibly graphic. Yeah, you got the point that this person shot in this. Even you know, I mean, shooting Carly.
I was going to say, it wasn't like a Rick and Morty death where you would have had like her intestines spilling out. And stuff like
exactly. It wasn't a cartoonish death. Yeah. But it's like, you know, you got that like total like double agent, like, I kill you, you kill him, you know, that whole thing. And it was the amount of gunplay and on-screen deaths and cursing was just, I was just I guess impressed, but also just surprised Disney let that go. And
this is also them, I think, also showing, because when Disney Plus launched, there was a lot of talk about older content of theirs being outdated and racial.
Absolutely.
Very stereotypical.
Absolutely.
This, I think, is them also showing, you know, hey, we get it. You know, times have changed.
Well, they can't be tone deaf.
Yeah. This is how we feel. This is Disney in 2021. You know, and I mean, I don't want to get into that all that much, but much like the whole Gone with the Wind discussion and all that, you know, unfortunately, it's a lot like comedy or like watching an old sitcom where, you know, today it may not be funny, but if you were in that point in time, you understand why certain things were portrayed. I think and there have been, you know, prominent African-American directors and actors coming out saying that they don't want to have things censored, you know, due to cancel culture or whatever, but they do want to have disclaimers saying, hey, this is a timepiece based on how things were during a certain point in time. Whereas I think this is Disney, you know, as you said, showing that they're not tone deaf and that they understand what's going on in 2021, basically.
Yeah, so. Totally agree. So, I mean, overall, if you were going to rate the entire series as a whole, what grade would you give it, A through F?
I mean, it would be hard for me not to give it an A because I was very emotionally connected through the entire thing, because it wasn't just and there's a musician that follows me here on Facebook that when Mandalorian was over, he posted, "Oh, I'll be canceling Disney for another year." And I'm like, well, you're not waiting to see, you know, the Marvel series? And he was like, no, all their movies are bland. It's all the same superhero crap, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. Right. but I think we've gotten anything but that with both WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, or should we say Captain America and Bucky?
Yeah, which also very nice touch too at the end. Yeah, I love that.
So I think that yes, they were superhero stories, but they were told with real, emotion and real, again, a lot of different subjects that are real. I think where maybe Jessica Jones failed was that it was a superhero that didn't want to be a superhero, instead of Sam wanting to be a superhero but not wanting to be that superhero. Right. Because of the weight and respect and everything that he had for Steve Rogers. And then once he realized that he didn't have to be Steve Rogers, that he just had to be a beacon of light for all types of people.
Right.
He realized that he could be himself and do what he could to kind of live up to things. Like when they had that aha moment at the end of episode 5, where both Bucky and Sam came to the realization of what each other had to do. That's kind of, that's what we were waiting for, I think, in like Jessica Jones. But it was constantly like nagging and constant, it's like there's no big bat. After that first season, to me, it just lost everything. Like David Tennant was just so good as, it wasn't the same as like Daredevil, where we had.
Yeah. Well, it showed a really bad villain problem. And that was,
right.
And by the time we got to the 3rd season, which I felt like was a lot better, because season 2, you and I well documented, torched it, and it just was not well done. I mean, it just wasn't. It was boring. The villain wasn't really a villain. It was her mother, and it wasn't like she wasn't really a villain. I felt bad, like she was a victim, and it wasn't like and I felt really bad, but it was like, it took so long to get there. Anyway, I don't want to start talking about Jessica Jones season 2, but you make a great point, and this is that show in particular faltered from I think that problem. Yes, because season 1 was so good, and David Tennant was such a good villain. He's such a good actor. It was so well written. Every episode was great, and we really enjoyed it. Then season 2 was not great, and season 3 tried to make it back up, and I felt like season 3 got really good near the end, like really good. I actually really enjoyed the last couple episodes of season 3, and I was like really bummed that I'm like, oh man, it's over. Like I actually feel like they got some good momentum going. Finally, the show's getting interesting again, and then it's just done. And I think that's the big differences, though, when you talk about WandaVision and we talk about the show Falcon and Winter Soldier, is that the shows move, the stories are good, the villains are good and also very believable in that way, but they're just good. They're good Marvel, I was a little, WandaVision got me a little, I mean, you and I talked, I was like, I liked the Agatha thing, but I was a little like, whoa, like, I don't know if this is going to hold up, but ultimately I think they did it really well. And I love how they're basically setting her up to basically become the big bad. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Like Elizabeth Olsen's Wanda is going to become the big bad of probably the Doctor Strange movie is what's going to happen. And I got a feeling that Doctor Strange movie is going to kind of be like that season of Buffy where, Willow became the big bad, but it wasn't until the end. It was actually 2 villains they dealt with. And by the mid-season, they vanquished the villain. And you're like, well, who's going to be the other villain? And then Willow does a heel turn and she becomes the big villain of that season. I think that Doctor Strange movie is going to be the thing of that, like that. I think we're going to get a villain. We'll be focused on it. We're going to start to see the Wanda, whatever, and then they're going to vanquish that villain halfway through the movie or 3/4 of the way, and we're going to have the full-on heel turn because she's not going to be able to control this power that she's been using.
Well, there are a bunch of different things there. I mean, will we actually get multiverse in Spider-Man is one. If we do, then she has to be involved somehow, even if it's accidentally.
Right, because she's a Nexus being and she could be across all
Right. So, I mean, I could definitely see a play where she mistakenly opens the multiverse up because she's looking for her kids.
Yeah.
You so as a result, you're getting all of this stuff spilt onto, Tom Holland's Peter Parker's lap.
Yeah. Is it going to be, and like you said, I like where you're going with this, because is it going to be a case where she's cross searching dimensions looking for the kids? And this is why what you're saying, she shows up, because it's like she's there looking for kids, so she's kind of passing through.
Right. And at the same time, maybe she's creating like some type of a wormhole or portal where all of this stuff, because she's trying to learn all this stuff, but she hasn't been really taught, which is where we'll probably circle back to Agatha Harkness in the future.
Right.
Is that she doesn't know what she's completely doing. And because she's just out of her mind, she just wants her kids and that's it.
Yeah.
And she doesn't care about, the carnage that she's leaving behind, basically.
Yeah.
So as a result, I mean, I think that we could, again, if we're seeing a multiverse there, I think what'll happen is we'll start to see it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And we may not see, it may be just like an end credit scene with her there.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be a lot of things taking place that, we'll be like, oh, this has to be Wanda, but it's not confirmed until the end credits.
Yeah.
And then, we pick up with Doctor Strange, which is only going to be 3 months later when it comes out.
Yeah, which is good, because it'll be nice to be hot on the heels and still fresh, and it'll be like a nice continuation, like these shows have been with Marvel, because I like the pace that this is happening now. Yes. And I like that we're getting a little Marvel break here, which I think is cool. Like, I know it's not all by design, because it wasn't supposed to be like this originally.
Actually, not true.
Oh, okay. Well, you are about to prove me wrong, sir.
Because
actually, not true.
I didn't think I was going to be seeing this, but it was just announced that on my end of the world,
yes,
MODOK, is that how you pronounce it?
The
claymation series with Nathan Fillion.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think it's something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So that's 10 episodes, and that starts Friday, May 21st.
Okay.
So we're going to have, in this series, all right. So check this out. This series has Nathan Fillion, Whoopi Goldberg, Bill Hader, John Hamm, Beck Beckett, John Daly, Melissa Fumero from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay.
Amy Garcia, whose name rings a bell from something. Wendy McClund Covey, who is from Reno 911 and the Goldbergs. She's the mother on the Goldbergs. Patton Oswalt, Sam Richardson, and Ben Schwartz, who was on Parks and Recreation. Okay. So this is an all-star cast for this show.
Wow. And that's May 21st.
May 21st. It's 10 episodes. So Bad Batch, this and Loki are all going to overlap.
Yeah, that definitely going to overlap now, because the MODOK, I didn't even realize that was. Yeah, so that's definitely going to overlap. But it's different things, so it's okay. So, but that'll be fun, like, because I and the thing is, I haven't, and I've been wanting to watch Mighty Ducks. By the way, I haven't started that yet. I do want to watch the Mighty Ducks show, so I gotta start watching that. Did you know that? Did you know that show was on there, the Mighty Ducks show?
Yeah, I was once confident to seeing a Mighty Ducks movie, and
come on,
the knuckle puck was enough for me to be like,
come on, it's the Mighty Ducks.
By the way, John Hamm plays Iron Man in the series.
Oh, very cool. That'll be interesting.
Nathan Fillion plays Simon Williams, who's that's Wonder Man, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it is.
Simon Williams. And Patton Oswalt is the main character. So there you go.
That's great.
But to your point, a lot of people are just going, Simon Williams, comma Wonder Man is who he is playing. Whoopi Goldberg is Marina Pound Cakes, it says.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all anyway.
Right. Okay.
I could go over the entire list here, but
Well, do you want to move forward on some of our quick hits? Because I think we're wrapped up on Falcon and Winter Soldier. Unless you have any final points. I mean, I agree. I think the show was an A+.
Yes.
And I enjoyed it. I really did. And I know some people have said they wish it was more than 6 episodes. I personally felt like it was good where it was at. I think it moved. I've always complained about shows being too long. I think this series fit right in the pocket. I think leave them wanting more is better than saying, is this over yet?
I agree. And I think, again, both the series have proven to be great comic book series.
Yes.
They have had, like we mentioned last week, a lot of the same overtones that Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, a lot of the classic Marvel writers wrote about, laid the foundation to write about. I think that both have been so different and unique, but at the same time have been so Marvel.
They feel like comic book. They feel like comic book movies.
Yes.
Or shows, whatever. But they do. They feel they feel comic booky, and I like that.
And I think that now, having taken both series in, I'm fine if they don't come back to these series again, because I see them as launching points to other things.
So do I. I mean, listen, it's a limited series. They're filling in the holes, telling a deeper story. Yeah. I don't need a continuation. And if they come back to it because it needs to tell another part of that story, that I'm okay with. But I don't look at these. I did not see WandaVision being a reoccurring series. I don't see this show being a reoccurring series. Like, The Mandalorian is different. And first of all, it's a different property. It's different altogether. And there's tons of stuff you could do with that character. And that shows itself, much like these, are launch pads for other things. And look what we're getting out of The Mandalorian. And that's launching different series and that are connecting to the greater universe. And much like this is also connecting to movies and shows and all that. So I'd rather them keep doing things like, okay, now we're going to get Loki, and we're going to get Armor Wars, and we're going to get Secret Invasion. And like, those will all be sort of, they probably will be one and done for the most part. Maybe a She-Hulk will be an ongoing thing, or the Hawkeye show could be,
the rumor there is, the Young Avengers, where you'll have the Patriot, who was Isaiah's grandson. You'll have Speed and Wiccan from WandaVision. You'll have
kind of like how we got the Defenders,
right? And that's what I was going to talk about now. I'm fine with them doing several seasons of a specific character with the occasional team up, and to have that build towards, again, a Defenders movie.
Right. Which, I think would be great. I think it'd be an awesome way to set the stage to do that.
Right. I agree.
I'm a fan. I mean, I just think if it's done under now the system, so stuff makes sense and there's continuity and the style is there and all that. Like, I would love nothing more would be, and I know you're a fan of this idea too, but I would love nothing more for them to bring back Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, the Punisher, which it would be hard to do on Disney. I don't think they'd be able to do it just because the character, the way he is, and they may want to do some distancing potentially for Punisher right now. And Daredevil, like, I would love to have that now done under this regime, because I think they would all knock it out. So I think the problems that we were talking about previously in this episode with Jessica Jones that we both see, and even to an extent, Daredevil, is great as that show was. It had we've talked about the flaws of that show. Luke Cage was always great, but always very uneven. As good as a show as that was, because we just both loved him, but the show was uneven. Iron Fist was awful, other than the last few episodes. But I would love to see Daughters of the Dragon do a I would love to see that stuff come back now under this, and I think it would be done well, and we would be having completely different conversations about those shows.
Right.
Or redo Iron Fist and recast. I don't know. Iron Fist is just. I think if Shang-Chi does really well, maybe Iron Fist gets brought back into this conversation, or they do this team up, or even a Heroes for Hire would be rad to see that happen.
I think it would be closer, especially seeing how this series panned out. I think it would make more sense for them to do a Heroes for Hire, maybe wrap up, if they even feel the need to wrap up.
Yeah.
The end of
Luke Cage basically turning heel. I mean,
yeah,
at the end of that season.
Right. So that's it. Do they want to wrap that up and make Danny Rand the one that kind of turns him around and makes him see that they need to do Heroes for Hire, and that's what that would be built on?
Which then you could also bring in Daughters of the Dragon too, because the way that ended, Daughters of the Dragon were completely that was happening. So it would be awesome to have all that, and then you can then bring that together, and then they could splinter off and do their. I see it so clearly in my head. I hope you're listening. Are you listening? Kevin Feige, Disney, Victor, and I have it all figured out.
Here's another thing that I wanted to bring up real quick. Spider-Man was in hiding during Falcon and Winter Soldier, thanks to J. Jonah Jameson. So although Chris Vaglio was originally correct,
I am correct.
we will see in Secret Invasion, which is supposed to show us
which is fine
on battles and different things.
That's fine, but he was not in the show, so therefore I am now 1 for 2.
1 for 2.
I am no longer goose egged, so I am 1 for 2 in predictions coming true. Peter Parker, Spider-Man did not appear in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I was correct.
Yes. And another point that I forgot to write down, which is important. All of the Sony Spider-Man properties are coming to Disney Plus.
Yes, but they took this cartoon off. Recently. It just disappeared. The Spider-Man cartoon is now off of Disney Plus for some weird reason.
Because from what I read, this is all going to happen between next year and 2026. So Disney is going to have first right to show every single Sony property that becomes available, unless Sony starts their own streaming service. It will go to Disney Plus, Hulu, Stars, and ABC, essentially. Any property of theirs. And supposedly the deal is that for X amount of years, Disney Plus will have every single Spider-Man property. Animated series, movies.
So I guess it means it's coming back.
Yes. Apparently it's a licensing thing where they had agreements to license that out to someone else. So within the next few years, it will all return.
It'll all come back.
So that's the deal. And they're going to get Venom. They're going to get what's the vampire that?
Morbius.
Morbius is going to go to D Plus as well. Mm-hmm. So
will Blade? Is Blade on there now? No. Was Blade Sony?
No.
Was Blade Fox?
Yeah,
Fox.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's got to be on it. Well, maybe not on there. On that, it might be on the extra service you have now. Plus.
Yeah.
Disney X Plus.
Let's see.
Is it on there?
It's loading.
Oh, by the way, I think I told you, New Mutants finally released on HBO Max here.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, I have not watched it yet, but it is on HBO Max. It showed up on the home screen. I was like, oh, I guess here it is. To little fanfare, It's just been here. It's just
that's so weird because they have Spider-Man: Homecoming here. Is I don't know if that's on Disney Plus. I have to see, but it's on HBO, it's on Amazon, and it's on Netflix.
Homecoming is on Disney Plus here. At least last time I checked, it was.
Marvel Legacy movies. They're actually. They could very well add it to regular Disney Plus because Logan is being added at the end of next month.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I got a.
I'll watch Logan all the time. That movie's great.
An email that said that. Let me just do a search for Blade.
Right. Well, while you're searching for Blade, I'm gonna get our quick hits together.
It is not here
okay,
yet, but I'm sure by the time the movie hits, it will be there. So, quick hits. You ready?
Quick hits. Ready? And
okay.
Quick hits. Here we go.
Quick hit number 1. Lupita Nyong'o says Black Panther 2 is reshaped to respect Chadwick Boseman.
That is awesome. I'm glad because he didn't get any respect at the Oscars as far as I'm concerned. So I am glad that he will. I mean, they have. I mean, how could you not? And it's just going to be interesting do they, once again, the big question we have, are they just going to recast the character?
Right.
Or will we have a initiation of the new king?
Yeah.
Of Wakanda.
Yeah, I think, let's be honest. Seeing that T'Chaka died and T'Challa took over, you don't have to recast T'Challa. You just have to recast the Black Panther.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And if they do go the way of the comics, which I know we've talked about many, many times, and I'm actually a fan of it if they do it, is Shuri becomes the new Black Panther.
Yes. Did you think that Anthony Hopkins, who came out and said that he wasn't expecting to win, thus he slept because he's living in, I think New Zealand is where he's living?
He's retired. Yeah, he's retired. Kind of. I mean, he's,
He pretty much accepted the award and said, hey, I want to, I'm going to screw it up, but he paid tribute to Chadwick Boseman, saying what a great actor he was. So I think with him saying that, he expected Chadwick Boseman to win.
I think so too. I mean, I think that was his expectation, and it was nice for him to do that, and it was at least good recognition. I think that he should have, but that's I think he should have won.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
Good old Academy Awards.
Yep, getting it wrong.
Hand in hand with the Grammys.
Here we go.
Number 2.
Boom.
CM Punk asked who he would play if he was brought into Star Wars. What character would he play? And he responded with Thrawn.
That's a very interesting answer. I think it's cool. I mean, a character is awesome.
Yes.
I don't know if I see him pulling it off because I really feel like you need a really good actor. Listen, no cut against CM Punk. I mean, there's no disrespect, but I don't see him as Thrawn. Like, I just see, like, I would see Tom Hiddleston as Thrawn before I saw CM Punk as Thrawn. Loki, I would see him or like that because. I mean, Thrawn's a little bit bigger, but like he is so calculating and he's a genius. And I just feel like you really need a good actor who can play that like smart and arrogant, confident, but like, like how they did it in Rebels. I loved how they did the character in Rebels.
What about somebody I brought up earlier? What about David Tennant?
David Tennant would be awesome. I would sign off on that. I would co-sign that.
Okay, another person that's kind of been in that whole kind of circle there. What about Benedict Cumberbatch?
Benedict Cumberbatch, the most English man in all of England. In Jolly Old England. I like him a lot as an actor. I feel like I'm a little bit on Benedict Cumberbatch overload at the moment.
Yeah, he's in everything now.
And I like him. I really enjoy him, but I feel like exactly he's in freaking everything right now. Yeah. And even Paul Bettany, but he was already in Solo, and I think he would have been good, but I don't obviously him playing in Solo, I don't I wouldn't work. But I like the David Tennant, actually. I actually like that one more than anybody we just said right now.
Okay.
So I could see CM Punk in Star Wars, though. I think he'd be a good character somewhere. I could actually see him popping up a Mandalorian.
Yeah,
I think he'd be great on that.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and if you're going to bring him in as a character, it's a great way to introduce him into something and, you know, possibly use him in other series. You know, he could cross the different series as, you know, almost like how Hondo, you know, like our beloved Hondo was able to crisscross these series.
I was going to say bring him in as Cad Bane.
Oh, that would be sick. Still have unfinished business with Cad Bane, man. Love that guy.
There you go.
All right.
Quick hit number 3. Michael B. Jordan responds to Superman rumors. So he responds with, you hear the whispers and rumors and stuff like that, and it's just a compliment. You know, I appreciate people that think about me in that type of way for these roles. I don't really have anything more to give on that other than it's just flattering, and I appreciate it. But, you know, whoever they get, or if it goes that way, I think it'll be an interesting thing to see.
Okay. I mean, listen, we like him. We know he's a good actor. I would love to see him. We said this. Is there a way to bring him back into Black Panther? Because he was so good. You know, does Killmonger get brought back and then they make him. He takes the mantle of Black Panther. You know, I think he's great. So, I mean, it'd be interesting to see in Superman. I guess I don't know if this is. Well, I guess there is no more DCEU, really. I mean, it's kind of not interconnected anymore right now. So you could sort of do like a Superman, kind of like how you did a Joker type of thing. It just kind of exists, or I don't know. I mean, are they saying they being asked to be played in Superman, or to just be in Superman? I guess is the context of the article. To be Superman.
Be Superman, yeah.
So, and I don't know if it's like, well, we're going to try to pull that Steel storyline and make that.
That's what everyone has like been talking is whether it would be him as Steel. Other thing, not Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah, not Shaquille O'Neal. That's right. Yeah. Here's another thing to consider: Multiverse of Madness. He was technically Johnny Storm.
Yes, he was
in one of the Fox.
Yes, he was
abominations of Fantastic Four.
Yep. He was.
Do we somehow
bring him in as Johnny Storm
him in as Johnny Storm from another dimension?
Listen, I think anything is possible. They could do. I mean, listen, we got Richard Boner from
yes, we did.
From X-Men. I think anything's possible. I mean, why not? Why not? Yeah. It'd be fun too. Even if it was a quick thing, it'd be funny.
I think his response is, you know, very
well. It's on purpose. I mean, obviously, it's what you would expect him to say. I mean, if he certainly cannot say anything about it. So, you know, it's the standard Hollywood PR statement that is like, I'm not going to deny it, but I can certainly I cannot confirm it. Like,
yeah. Absolutely.
So it's the most gracious, most Hollywood professional way of saying that, of answering that question.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
The last point here, Chloe Zhao. I believe that's how you pronounce her last name.
Yeah.
She just won the Oscar for Best Movie. Two Oscars.
Yeah, she won 2 Oscars. Best movie, Nomadland, which I've been in my queue to watch because I really want to see it. And
I want to see it too. It's on Disney Plus.
It's on Hulu here.
Okay, so it's on Disney Plus here.
Right, yeah, it's the same. Yeah.
So it's interesting because instantly she wins, and then all of a sudden there's all this Eternals talk because it was almost like okay, low key, kind of like when James Gunn did Suicide Squad, or not Suicide Squad, Galaxy Geeks movie,
the Galaxy Geeks movie coming to a theater near you.
Yes, with Star-Lord and
with the Star-Lord and that guy and the talking tree and the rabbit, the rabbit.
Yeah. So we've been saying all along, Eternals is going to be the new Guardians.
It very well has all the weirdness to be that. Obviously we've seen no footage or anything yet, but I mean this definitely gives fuel big time on that fire. Because I mean, you already have this like gigantic ensemble cast, and now you have an Academy Award-winning director, on who's helming your ship here. So nothing gives you more buzz and steam than that.
And she supposedly, from what I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, but she supposedly shot Eternals with the same rig that she used to shoot Nomad's Land. Yeah. So, what's the name of the movie? Did I say it wrong?
Nomadland.
My bad. So there's talk of that. And then I've also read that there's no CGI in this movie, which I kind of have a hard time believing.
Yeah, but I don't know how you're going to pull off. I mean, listen,
from outer space. How are you? Did we get Angelina Jolie up to the International Space Station for her shots? I don't know.
I think it's definitely the cool hip thing to say is, I mean, listen, that's what J.J. Abrams was trying, with Force Awakens. He did as much practical effects as he could, which is very cool. And I think it shows. But obviously they used computers when they had to. And I love how and I don't know if they're using the same setup, but how Jon Favreau's been shooting Mandalorian with what they've been able to create, which I feel like is a good mix between practical and digital technology. I mean, we know from the pictures that have been posted on our group, the mask work, all that kind of stuff has been really very like old school Hollywood stuff. It's very cool. So if they incorporate a lot of those elements, I think that would be really cool rather than just being completely all CGI. Like, I feel like some of those, the stuff that from Endgame, like those actors that were playing some of those characters, it's like, they didn't think they have to put them all in CGI suits. I think they could have easily have done like a really cool makeup job with them and like made it look a little bit more like not CGI and all that. So, it'll be cool. It'll be cool.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think that this makes a lot more people at ease with the property though.
So what? So I'm getting a text from our buddy Christian, and he's saying what she meant was mainly practical locations and not effects.
Okay.
So it's kind of what we were talking about. So she's not using any CGI locations. She's using a lot of practical locations. So
okay, so that makes sense because I mean, let's be honest. I've driven from Las Vegas to LA, and there's plenty of scenery there that looks like you're on Mars or the moon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
you go. Yeah, there's definitely places on this planet where you go, you don't feel like you're on Earth, but
yeah, but you are. Yeah. So, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hello, cool. Christian. By the way, I know he says that he follows us, whether he pops in here and chats with us or not.
Yeah, he's got some phone issues with with chatting, but anyway, I know he's on. So, thanks for watching.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Our number one fan.
Yes. So next week we will be talking Bad Batch, right?
Absolutely. We'll be talking about episode 1 of Bad Batch and any other quick hit news that comes up along the way. I am excited for Bad Batch.
Am I.
We talked about that being one of our favorite parts of that newest last season of Clone Wars. So I'm excited where this takes place in the timeline as well, because this is going to fill in even more holes, I think, in terms of what happened in between that time of Revenge of the Sith and New Hope, and this takes place after Order 66. So we're gonna get more storytelling in that timeline. So and by the looks of the trailer, it's not gonna be like, oh, we're gonna be like in the Empire and these guys like operating inside the Empire and all this, and it looks like Palpatine and it looks like even we may get some Vader action. So I think this is gonna be cool.
Tarkin's in it.
Tarkin is in it. Yep.
Yeah, he's in the trailer, and so I mean, definitely from part of the trailer where it says take out Squad 99, I think is their official name.
Yeah, I think
So I think it's obvious that they probably disobeyed Order 66. So
yeah, it probably didn't work because they're already like crazy and different, and or they found out from Rex and they removed their chips. I don't know, something. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But I am excited for the show. If it's done like they did Clone Wars, I can't see this being a bad show. So we are looking forward to breaking down that first episode for everybody next week. So make sure you tune in next Thursday right here.
Real quickly.
Yes.
Any predictions, since it's gonna air on Tuesday. So by the time we talk about it, we're already gonna be one episode in.
That's true.
Any predictions as to who may show up? We need to
I feel like we're definitely going to get some of the older, like I think we're going to get a Rex, somebody like that. Maybe not in episode 1. I hope we get Hondo.
Chris is saying Rex and Hondo.
And I think a long shot would be somebody you just mentioned.
Okay.
Cad Bane.
Okay. My predictions. Let's see if we get any of these right.
Okay.
I think somewhat of a layup may be what you just said. In Rex, I think Rex is a pretty good. I mean, that could be a layup.
I think it is. I feel like it makes sense, and it may not be in the whole. It could be a fast, quick thing.
Yeah. Ahsoka could be somebody that we could see.
I feel like if we see her, it's going to be really fast because I think the minute you bring Ahsoka into the show becomes all about Ahsoka.
No, but I think it'll be just like that. It'll be like we saw Leia in Rebels, or we saw Lando in Rebels, where it was the end of an episode to help get them out of a jam type of a deal. That's where I could see this happening.
All right.
My long shot is Obi-Wan.
Now, I think that's 100% plausible if they wind up on Tatooine and then there's a sort of a, saving or running into him or something like that. I feel like that could happen. I mean, it'd be really cool to, it'd be really neat to see some really interesting stuff here because I feel like that you can bring in some of the older characters, some of our legacy characters. It'd be neat to see too. No, that won't make sense. That wouldn't work.
What about like a Kanan or a Hera?
I was just thinking of Hera, but I don't. Kanan's dead. Oh
no, he's not. Not yet.
No, he's not. Not yet. You're right. So that's why I'm trying to. I was just trying to do the math. I was trying to do the math in my head of timeline. So a Kanan and a Hera could be entirely possible. I don't think this would happen at all. But a solo running, and that's too big, right?
That's exactly what you said about Luke.
Or Lando.
We've seen Lando animated, though.
We have seen Lando animated, but it was established. You could bring it back. So I think there's a lot of possibilities there.
Han is the only one that we haven't seen, like out of the major players. Well, I guess we haven't seen Luke either.
I mean, Boba Fett.
Could
Dengar, IG-88, Bosk.
Well,
I mean, any of your classic like bounty hunter.
Technically, we have seen Boba Fett, but as a kid.
Yeah, in Clone Wars.
Right.
But at this point, he would be at least, a teenager, young adult. I mean.
True. Let's see here. Star Wars Rebels animated television series set during the time frame between Episode 3 and Episode 4.
Okay.
And so this fits in right there because Order 66 happens during Episode 3.
Right. And also I'm wondering, how fast, how much after Order 66 does this take place? Because do we get a pre damaged Anakin? Pre-Mustafar Anakin?
I would love it if they just start the episode with Order 66.
Right. And because he was Vader, but he wasn't in the suit yet. The suit came after the fight, obviously.
Right.
But he did all that stuff when Order 66 happened. He went, he started killing everybody, and he, slaughtered all those kids on the temple. And he didn't. I mean, the movie made it like everything happened, bam, bam, boom. But I know there was a little time there, so
right.
It wasn't like he just got like effed up by Obi-Wan like 2 hours later. Like there was a little bit of time that happened.
Yeah, he was in that Bantha. Or no, what the hell's that called? Not the Bantha. The Bantha was the damn animal on Hoth, if I'm not mistaken. The tubes with the stuff to heal in.
The Bantha tank.
Bantha tank. There you go. Yeah, that it works well, but it doesn't work miracles.
No.
Even Luke couldn't grow his arm back.
Yeah, he was going to grow a hand back. It just helps you heal from. But all right,
I have to say one last thing here. About 2 months ago, my wife and I started watching Trailer Park Boys, which is on Netflix. Never seen it before. I've had friends recommend it for years.
Right.
And there is a scene which is a shot-for-shot dialogue recreation of the Empire Strikes Back lightsaber duel between Luke and
Darth Vader.
Yeah, with the Luke, I'm your father. I'll never be like you. It was that whole thing, and it was funny because there's so many things about that series that crack me up to begin with, just the whole whackness of it. But just to have them fit that in there was just great. Was beyond great. So
now I did hear. This is it. This is absolutely. I heard a rumor, a very long shot rumor, like so long that I don't. But I've heard that Disney may surprise drop the long shelved Star Wars Detours project. Which was created before Disney bought Star Wars. It was created by George Lucas, and it was him and Robot Chicken, and they just did like all the how they do their stuff, all Star Wars stuff. And apparently, there's 72 finished episodes that were shelved and never. Just that was it. The project was abandoned, but they are finished, and Disney owned. And I've heard that we could be getting a surprise release on.
This was the Seth Green series that he was working on right before Disney bought.
Yeah, the Robot Chicken. So it was him, it was Lucas, and the guys from Robot Chicken, and they did a series, and it was all wacky and all funny comedy based stuff, like nothing to do with canon, just complete like nonsense, but in the Star Wars universe. And it was called Star Wars Detours. And apparently, there's 72 episodes that were completed, finished, done, and then just shelved, never released because he sold Disney. I mean, he sold Star Wars to Disney, and then they didn't do anything with it.
Which now, with them having Hulu and with them having the Stars,
which they probably thought, you know what, we're just gonna hang on to this, and so
Yeah. Well, that would be awesome. I mean, that would be something that I tell you what, that would give us plenty of.
If that comes true. But once again, rumor, it's complete rumor, not confirmed. So we'll have to see if it happens. But
the big rumor that I heard, which it is from your friend Mike Zero. Oh my God, it came up on my YouTube. Like he started. Okay, there's one bit that I'll tell you off here that I don't want to bring up.
All right, yeah, don't bring it up.
Politically charged. But the one thing that he brings up is that Jon Favreau will be replacing Kathleen Turner before the end of this summer.
You mean Kathleen Kennedy?
Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah, Kathleen Turner. Sorry. I saw the trailer for Kaminsky.
Kaminsky Method.
Kaminsky Method Season 3, and she's in it. So,
great show. By the way, great show.
Yeah. So,
all right, let's wrap it up.
Yes, let's wrap.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for hanging in there on this little extended edition of the Galaxy Geeks. We'll definitely be back next Thursday. And as we were talking about, we will be getting back to talking about some Star Wars stuff because we will have some new Star Wars material to discuss as the Bad Batch is being released on May 4th, next Tuesday. And we'll see if any other secret stuff gets dropped along the way. Very excited for this, and we'll have a lot to talk about for sure. So make sure you join us next Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As we always do, you can watch us right here on YouTube or the Galaxy Geeks Facebook page. It's free to join. All you got to do is just search for us on Facebook and hit Galaxy Geeks group, and you're in. Or you can watch us right here on YouTube. So that's why it's important to always hit that subscribe button, because when you hit that subscribe button, you punch that subscribe button, you get notified every time we go live. Every time we put a new video up, you will get notified so you don't forget that you're supposed to be watching the Galaxy Geeks on Thursday nights. And we also have an audio podcast version of the podcast. So if you don't want to watch the video or you want to just listen, whatever, we are on every single audio platform that's out there now for podcasts. Just search Galaxy of Geeks podcast and you can listen to our latest episodes. You can go all the way back in time. We're coming up on 100 episodes really soon, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's coming.
I'm going to be posting. I was thinking about it earlier today. This episode, I think, will be episode 99, what we're recording now.
Oh, so next week, is it?
I believe. Let me
next week. Next week could be a big week for us.
Yeah, we're going to have,
we have to have some guests on.
We're going to have, yeah.
We have to be a supersized show of Galaxy Geeks.
Yes.
All right, we'll plan this out. We'll get back to everybody. However, regardless, please make sure you subscribe to us over there as well. I want to thank everybody for hanging in there, watching us, watching live, watching the replay, and head over to galaxygeeks.net for all things Galaxy Geeks, news, merch store, all that fun stuff. And with that, we will bid you adieu, and I will turn it over to my co-host to take us out.
Yes. You've pretty much given them the 411, so all I got to say is see ya right here next week on the Galaxy of Geeks live stream podcast. Sorry, folks, long week. See ya.
See ya.